Welcome to Wellness Rebranded. We know there is so much conflicting health and fitness advice out there.
And you're tired of the wellness fads, endless diets, and impossible standards that make you feel like nothing you do is ever enough.
You're ready to tune into your mind and body and feel empowered around health.
We're the Healing Trio here to help you redesign your relationships with food, fitness, and yourself.
I'm Elizabeth, registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor.
I'm Maria, licensed mental health therapist.
And I'm Tara, personal trainer.
Together, we're changing the narrative on health away from diet culture, hustle culture, and toxic positivity and towards healthful self-care.
So grab your water bottle, get ready to laugh, learn, and grow.
And let's start rebranding your wellness journey. Welcome to another episode of Wellness Rebranded. Today, this is Maria. I'm here with Tara and Elizabeth. And this is the summer, and we want to talk about how sometimes vacation re-entry can be hard.
Yes.
Like Elizabeth is going to guide a conversation on what does that mean?
Yeah. Hopefully I'm not the only one that feels that way. That vacation re-entry is hard.
You're not alone there.
Nope,
yeah.
You're not.
So, and also just, I feel like it's a question I get a lot is like, well, one, wellness routines change on vacation, and then sometimes it's hard to get back into the mode of them, and just catching up on all the things when you're at vacation. So, Maria, you were just away for a really long time. Tell us a little bit about your trip.
So I went away for a month with my family.
That was a really long time.
That's amazing.
It was a really long time. And I was telling you guys that when I came back these past 3 days, it's been like I feel like I need to stay in bed. And I did for 2.5 days because my body was tired. And I had a great time and all that, but it needed that readjustment. So yes, re-entry can be hard because it's a change, it's an adjustment of doing something for a month that I usually don't do on a regular basis and then coming back to whatever
Vacation
daily
hangover.
routine. Yes, maybe. I like that. Yeah. So in terms of emotional wellness, I'm thinking for vacation re-entry is maybe learning when you go on vacation, what are the things that you enjoy and the feelings that were good for you, that you liked feeling, and maybe how to recreate that in your daily life. I mean, that's not more like a re-entry, it's more like a learning. You can have a takeaway if it was a good vacation.
Yeah. Well, so
You just got back from like a really long
Yes.
vacation, Elizabeth.
I did just get back from a really long vacation. I had a great vacation, and I think what I noticed, and Maria, you and I were talking about this because we were both in different countries, right? And you pick up things from other cultures of like, oh, I kind of like this little thing, and I want to integrate more of it into my life, or you kind of pick up these nuggets of things, but it's interesting to think about. So when you're on vacation, what feels better in terms of sort of how you're taking care of your body, your mind, and what maybe doesn't feel better? Like, you're out of your routines, right? Maybe you're eating a little bit differently. Maybe you're moving a little bit differently. And then how do you get back on track? Kind of, how do you combine the two, right? Keep some of those vacation good vibes and keep the routines that make you feel good and meld them back in when you come back.
Love it. I actually feel like I almost feel better on vacation because I'm getting more sleep and I'm usually outdoors a whole lot more than I am at home.
Yeah.
And just like being in nature kind of like fills my soul.
Yeah.
So I always feel like, oh, I'm getting lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. I usually vacation in tropical places, by the way. I'm like a on the beach kind of girl. I'm getting a lot of sun. I'm getting a lot of like fresh fruit. I'm getting a lot of sleep. You know,
Yeah.
it just feels good.
Yeah.
So you made me think about, like, for example, in my vacation, usually when I'm here, I don't walk much. Like my movement is just when I, on purpose, move my body with exercise or an exercise routine. Over there, we were walking so many steps per day.
Yeah.
And it felt so good.
Yes.
It made me think, first of all, I was kind of surprised with myself, like, wow, I can walk this much without being in pain. Like, I was proud of myself for walking so much because this was a country where people walk a lot, right? Here, we're used to, well, here maybe just in the city we are, no, don't mean the whole U.S., but we use our cars way more, right? So one thing I want to include is more walking. Like, I can do it and it feels good, and you know, it made me feel my body was doing something.
So funny. I had exactly the same
Right?
takeaway. Like, we did so much walking, and it's not that I don't know that about myself, that I love walking, but I love just the more constant movement throughout the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I'm here working, it's just hard to move more constantly throughout the day. You have to be so much more intentional about it. But I came back kind of thinking, I got to figure out how to bring more of that into my day to day.
It's been a minute since I've been on vacation. You know, with the pandemic and a baby and all that, it's not something that we've done a lot lately. But when I was in Costa Rica, I lived in Costa Rica for high school. We walked everywhere. You know, my school was 3 miles away, and it was not uncommon for us to just walk home. You know, and that's definitely something that I miss as well.
Yeah.
Not a super walkable area that we live in.
Yeah, sadly, no, it isn't.
But then for you, Elizabeth, coming back, if we talk about the eating during vacation, it's good to have that curiosity of trying new foods. But then, for example, my mindset when I'm on vacation is I'm going to try everything. You break maybe with the routines, or, you're not cooking that much at home, so you adapt to what is there. What are things that you do when you come back to reentry into it could be either including stuff that you brought that you learned, or, how do you reentry? That's probably a question that you get a lot, right? How?
Definitely a question I get a lot. And, of course, depends what somebody's goals are. But I find that so many people I talk to tell me that their digestive health suffers while on vacation. And I'm thinking specifically of even bathroom habits and bowel movements. It's really common to not have quite your usual pattern when you're on vacation. And I think it's just because people's food choices do tend to differ while we're on vacation. So
that makes so much sense, because my whole family, including myself, we were all constipated.
Yeah, that is usually what happens.
Right, because of the change on the routine.
Also, air travel messes with digestion.
Oh.
When you're up at altitude like that, you are more dehydrated. So that's going to, of course, mess with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's really, really common to be constipated on vacation. And I think, I think it's for a lot of reasons, but one of the things is when you're on vacation, you tend to be eating out in a restaurant more often. Usually it's harder to find things like whole grains, or maybe you're not eating quite as many vegetables as you normally might. You're basically, people's fiber intake goes lower, which will certainly, impact your digestion and your bowel movements. So one of the things that I like to do, well, first of all, the first thing that I kind of always do when I come back is go grocery shopping, which sounds obvious, but sometimes people don't make that the first priority. So I suggest make a plan to have groceries kind of pretty quickly when you come back. Either Instacart them or actually get yourself to the grocery store. Sometimes I actually will ask my dog sitter, will go and get them for me if I give her a list, which is pretty awesome.
That's
actually
amazing.
Yeah.
But have food in the fridge stocked and ready to go, because at least I know when I come back, I just want to get back to eating normally. It's so much fun to eat and try all the things on vacation, but then I'm sort of ready to go back to my more normal pattern. So grocery shopping is definitely one of them.
Okay.
I also think it's a great time to plan some plant-forward meals. Again, knowing that fiber intake has probably dropped while you were away, or just digestion shifted for other reasons because it's food you don't usually eat. I like to make some plant-forward meals.
I'm even thinking water intake is probably compromised as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
A lot of
And
times.
alcohol intake is probably increased
Right.
for many people.
And that's going to take a toll.
Yeah,
somehow.
for sure. Yeah, so thinking about hydration.
When I'm on vacation, I like to find a dish that I loved or something like when we were in Peru, they did like a ton of stuff with lemongrass. Like lemongrass was in
that's
all
cool.
sorts
I
of
love
dishes
lemongrass.
and everything. So when I got back, I was like, oh, let me buy some lemongrass at the store. Can I make things with lemongrass now? No.
Oh, I have a great recipe for lemongrass chicken. I'm going to send it to you.
Yay, I'm so excited.
It's super yummy.
I tried a whole bunch of
Send it
stuff.
to her, make it, and have us over for the
Oh,
lemongrass.
even better. I
Even
will
better,
do that.
yes.
Yes.
And as soon as my house construction is over, because you don't want to come right now. Tara can attest to
She
that.
has no kitchen. She didn't have a wall until
Well, I
like
have
yesterday.
a kitchen, but I don't have anything else.
Okay, that
I literally
was
didn't
not
have an
hard.
outside wall.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
crazy.
We'll wait. That's okay.
Yeah,
we'll wait.
But it's a great. But I
do
the way
like
you think.
bringing some element of something that I enjoyed on vacation
Yeah.
back with me.
Yeah, speaking of that, so the thing that I tried to bring back with me this time is a little, I don't quite know how to describe it necessarily, but like that mind, like vacation mind space of like, I just had less stuff
Yes.
running in my mind all the time, like less of a to-do list, less worry about work, less
Yep.
family stress, like whatever it was. So for me, I came back making it a priority to meditate and try to
back on
capture
that.
some of that. I know, always with the meditation, I know. Always trying. That was my way of like I really loved that clear mental space and I
Yes.
trying
Yes.
to find it.
So valuable.
And so needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to happen if we don't schedule it and bring it to our routine.
Yeah, yeah. What
Like-
about you though? What's the thing that like what were you craving? So this is like such an interesting way of thinking about it is, I'm all about listening to your body and letting your body be the guide. And I think our bodies speak to us really loudly, either when we're on vacation or when we come back. So what was your body was craving? Rest, you already said. But what
1
else?
week when I came back.
Yeah, like what else?
Rest. It resonated when you talked about creating a more peaceful mindset. That resonated because I really enjoyed that. So I didn't come rushed into going back into the busyness of I'm like, hold on, I don't need to
Yeah.
do that, so fast. But it was rest.
Yeah.
And what I like about traveling among all the things is also the change in perspective that can bring you to your own life, right? When you see how other people live their lives for one reason or the other. For me, we were in Spain, and people might be familiar that they have their siesta time. I mean, nothing happens between 2 and 5 p.m., right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and it's respected.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I mean, here it's a whole different perspective of how your workday could look like.
Yes.
And they honor that rest. Here
Yeah.
it's more like you're resting. How come? Then you need more work.
Yeah, you need
Then-
more work.
Yeah, then maybe you're gonna have enough on your plate. Like
Yeah.
there is like, hold on 1 second, you're not gonna respect your siesta. What is going on?
Yeah.
It's a whole different. So I'm craving also the social part. Over
yeah.
there, people look forward to get out of work
Yes.
and meet at a place and share some drinks and some laughter, and you see these streets filled with tables
Yeah.
and outside, and people are, you hear on the street the laughter and I was like, I need more of that.
I need more of that too.
Right? I feel like I'm work and then I'm in bed at 9 p.m. for real. That's where I go to bed. And then the next day I repeat the day over and over, and I've been neglecting seeing my friends and stuff because I'm so busy again that I was like, it's not really worth it. Like, when were we brainwashed that this was the way to live our lives?
Agreed. I
Right.
tell everyone I want to come back in my next life as a European.
Right?
I just love the way they approach it all.
And I have a secret to make.
What?
To make.
To tell?
No, to
Tell.
tell. A secret to tell.
Yeah?
On the first episode of when I joined you guys, our first episode, we talked about one thing on my bucket list that I wanted to do. You guys remember what
Dance
that?
flamenco.
No,
What was it?
it was going to a nude beach.
Oh, Maria!
Did it?
I did.
Wow.
And I'll tell you this. I want to clarify something. Because my friend is like, what? But you're going to look at other people being nude. I'm like, no, nobody's looking at each other. I wanted to experience something
freedom.
of getting out of my comfort zone
Yes.
and see how I was going to react and just experience that, right? And so we did it. So it was almost empty. So
Did you take the whole family?
No, it was just my husband
Okay.
and me, and my kids stayed with my mom. So it was just me and my husband. Most of the people there were senior citizens, and that really caught my attention. I was like, look at these people so comfortable with their body.
Yeah.
Just sitting down, reading a book,
Yeah.
getting some sun, minding their own business. I walked around for the first time and I just connected with myself in a different way without thinking, are they looking at me? Are they not?
Yeah,
No,
that's so
it was just
interesting.
an
Super
experience
liberating.
of me with me. Went in the water, never done it before in my life without any clothes, right? And I just, I just took it in.
Yeah.
And so that independently and taking away the nude part, it was, how do you say, like an enlightenment or a discovery that I want to feel more freedom.
Yeah.
I want to be less attached to how I look,
Your
how I
clothing.
not look.
I actually did something really similar a few weeks ago. I went to like a Korean spa with a friend of mine.
Yes.
And they have parts where it's like, clothes are prohibited here.
Yeah.
Prohibited, not
Yes,
optional.
not
prohibited.
optional, prohibited.
Interesting.
Yes.
And also the towel they give you is like a hand towel. So like you can't wrap it around yourself at all. And like it might cover like half of one boob. Like it's very tiny.
Right.
And all these women were just like walking around in there and letting it all hang out. And everybody looked so free. And there was a whole air of like happiness in there.
Because here's the thing, it's not like I want to go too deep into this subject, but think for a minute. In this case, it was clothing. But if we would do it with everything else, like if we really would show each other with our raw emotions.
Who you really are, yeah.
Yes.
Your raw emotions and vulnerability, and see that as the clothing that we start taking off layer by layer.
I love that
And we have to stop pretending so much that, yes, I'm successful, I'm productive, I'm blah, blah. No, I'm just a human being walking around without, let's call it emotional clothing, right?
Keep your clothes on, but take your armor off.
Yeah.
Yeah, good one.
So I
Look at you all prophetic or poetic
Chat
today.
BGP.
This is the metaphoric episode. Metaphoric, is that a word? So anyway, that
I love that you gave us an update on this, may I say.
I
you're
also love
very
that.
welcome. I thought you might enjoy it.
I did.
So one last thing on the bucket list. There you go. Check.
Yes.
Right.
Nice.
Yes.
And apparently vacation re-entry clothes are optional.
And emotional clothing.
And emotional
Really
armor
could
is
be,
dispensable.
Optional. Let's
Yes.
work on that.
Love
All
it.
right.
Okay, so interesting to think about then. What are the things you don't do when you come on vacation? I mean, when you come back from vacation that can ease re-entry? I have a list that I shared with my community. I'll share some with you, but I want
What is that? No, I'm curious about yours because I have nothing.
Okay.
I don't have much either.
Interesting. Okay, so one of the things that I shared with my health and healing community is I do not recommend stepping on the scale when you come back from vacation.
Yeah.
No good can come from that,
Yep.
and it can just send you into a tailspin. So that was one of the things that I said I don't do, and I wouldn't recommend anyone else do.
Okay, but hold on here.
Yeah.
Because I have to say that I participated in one of your master classes, and that's something that you shared there, and I loved it. You gave 2 reasons why stepping on the scale is not good. It can bring you to 2 different ways that at the end are not healthy. One, if I remember correctly, is yes, not being getting discouraged,
Yes.
by what you see on the scale because of whatever standards you have in your head. And then the other one was getting happy about it and then slack on, the plan or the goals that you already have. Was it something like that?
Yeah, pretty much. I always say that I describe this scale as the tail that wags the dog.
Right.
And it sort of has this undue power over us. So in not so much in the context of vacation, but in the context of people working on their, trying to change their eating habits. If weight loss is the goal, then people can be making all sorts of really great changes to their food choices, to their movement, to their health routines, and then they get on the scale. And if the number didn't go in the direction they wanted or as quickly as they wanted, then people get discouraged and think, well, it's not working, so why am I even bothering, right? And in that scenario, the scale is shifting your behavior, not in a helpful way. Yep. And it happens the same way in the other direction, which is, again, if the number on the scale is your primary outcome that you're working towards, you could be making great changes. You get on the scale, you see a number you do like, and people are like, shoo, okay, I'm going to take my foot off the gas pedal a bit. And either way, it's dictating how you feel and what you do.
Which is not based on evidence or reality, because the scale is just one variable among so many things.
Sure,
your body shifts and it's
especially
the scale
the short
is not
term,
measuring
day to day.
that.
Like people who get on the scale every day. I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why the scale fluctuates day to day that have nothing to do with fat gain or loss, and then you feel down in the dumps and dejected and all the things. So I do not recommend stepping on the scale. Another thing that I shared with my community is ditch any sort of feelings of guilt for whatever you did eat or didn't eat or did move or didn't move, or in terms of your wellness routines, whatever what happened on vacation stays on vacation. You probably needed it. It's okay to have fun, right? It doesn't mean that you can't also practice listening to your body and trying to feel good while you're on vacation. I'm a big advocate of that, but ditch the guilt about whatever happened. That's not going to help you get back on track. And that's goes back to what I was sharing in that masterclass earlier today. For anyone out there, I did a masterclass, Crack the Code to Consistent Feel-Good Eating Without Sacrificing Foods You Love. If anyone's interested, there's a replay.
For anybody out there, if you haven't taken that masterclass, I highly recommend that. Really, not because I do this episode with Elizabeth. I really enjoyed it and learned from it. So do yourself a favor and learn a little more about this, because it's only going to be helpful for your wellness, overall wellness. And go into Elizabeth's website and...
I love that. Thank you for saying that. That's so sweet. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it.
Yes.
I can drop a link in the show notes and people can get it. Another thing that I shared is don't start restricting now. So common, right? People go on vacation, they feel like they overdid it, and the immediate reaction is I'm going to go home and cut everything out. Don't do that. That's not going to be helpful. No. That's just perpetuating the wild, extreme swinging with food. So instead, what I suggest is just commit to listening to your body, practicing listening to your body, and choosing the foods that make you feel good now.
Yep.
And just pick back up there.
So give yourself permission to change, to give yourself permission to be flexible on what you want to do with your body and listening to your body.
Yeah.
That's okay.
One thing I love about vacation is that you have the opportunity to do things that you may not be able to do where you live. And when we're looking at this through the lens of fitness, I like to go on beach vacations. So there's snorkeling, there's scuba diving, there's usually hiking, there's walks on the beach. There's a bunch of things that you can do that are probably not accessible to you at home. And you guys were just in Europe, you were walking up a storm all the time, doing a ton of stairs. I think I remember one of you doing, probably both of you. It's just little ways to kind of make movement part of your day rather than this whole, I have to exercise, where can I fit this in? You just move intuitively.
Yes.
Yeah, and a reminder that everything doesn't have to go out the window just because you're on vacation. Have fun. It's okay for it to look different, but you can still pay attention to how you want to take care of yourself even while you're on vacation and have fun.
Yep.
It's not getting out of the either or. But so I'm curious. So really quickly, in terms of either kind of movement or mental health, anything that you would suggest not doing to ease vacation reentry?
Yes, when you get back from vacation, regardless of how active you were on it, you don't want to kill yourself in the gym because your body is still getting used to your new old routine. So it's not going to respond the same way to a workout. You may not recover as quickly. You might have an injury. Like things can happen. So ease back into it and don't be crazy.
Good one.
Good one. Maybe like not necessarily you have to separate the two. Like sometimes we come from vacation and pay attention to what the feeling is when you come back. Is it like, I'm back to this routine, or now that my vacation is over, here I'm going back to the stress, like getting into that. What we experience on vacation doesn't have to be only on vacation, right? Because how often can we really plan a vacation for ourselves that long or to a specific place? So maybe grabbing what you like from that vacation or didn't like and include it or not into your daily routine. Because they're mindcations too, right?
Yeah.
Like take moments from that. Mindcation. Take moments from that and bring it to your mind and, let them stay with you, that feeling. You can carry on whatever worked for you during that vacation and let it, come to you.
Make it a part of your meditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking, so like essentially, there's like one tip that jumps out at me or like take away from everything we're talking about. It's like be gentle with yourself when you come back. You don't have to run right back into the rat race. You don't have to, beat yourself up and be mean to yourself. You don't have to get right back into being overly stressed. Like it's okay to take it easy when you come back from vacation and ease in also.
And here's another thing. Be gentle if you cannot go on vacation.
Yeah.
Because we also sometimes put so much value of all the things that are going to be solved and magically disappear if we go on vacation. But how often can we have a vacation?
Yeah.
So if you cannot physically have like a vacation, it could be like little things every day. Like create, an environment that makes you feel a little less stressed or anxious, and create your own little spaces that could be a vacation or the mindcation. Find that time where you can disconnect on a daily basis. Because again, if we only wait for a vacation, come on, my next one.
Yeah, how often do we go on
what's
vacation?
Gonna happen? Yes.
You all the time.
Well, okay.
Or it could be that one mental health day,
vacations,
that you take off. And make it your vacation.
It's remote work.
Yes. Awesome. Well, we hope that if you are going somewhere, you have tons of fun and are gentle with yourself upon return. And if you are unable to go somewhere, I like Maria's idea of a mindcation or a staycation or making your own vacation here at home.
Me too. Guys, if you like this episode, we would love for you to leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcast. And please feel free to share this with anyone who you think might benefit from it.
Thank you.
See you next time.